Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. I'm excited. We've got fun guests every day, but we've got a really fun guest coming up later today. Should I tell you who?
Sure.
All right, I thought you might ask. We have a guy by the name of Andrew, and we're going to be talking about schools, and he's got, this is actually something all across the country. Next week is a National School something week. I don't have the info right in front of me. National School, I can't remember. Anyway, started a few years ago. They had 150 schools participate. This year there's like over 15,000. So it's
I'd be
a big
really
deal.
excited about it if I knew what it was.
Well, it's good stuff. It's school stuff. So be informed and be listening here in a little bit. He'll actually give you the whole scoop. So, again, I got a better note laying in the other room. Coming up here in a bit, we've got some special things to talk about. But right now, a tourist in China has won himself free noodles for life after scarfing down 43 bowls of noodles in an eating contest.
Oh, my gosh.
The tourist, also from China, was crowned a noodle master after eating out-eating 100 competitors. So he was in China, but he was actually there visiting China, from a different part of China, I think.
Okay.
I should pre-read this
stuff.
stuff.
That was clear as mud.
Hey, we got some special things going on today. We'll tell you all about those in a bit on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Thursday, the 21st day of January. Today is Get to Know Your Customers Day. So, hi, guys. How you doing? I'm John. She's Heidi. She's much better looking, of course. It's National Hugging Day. Ooh,
I
hey.
love hugs.
I know you do. I'm going to give you a hug here in a second. Squirrel Appreciation Day. So hug a squirrel
I love
today.
Squirrels.
And it's Women's Healthy Weight Day today.
Oh.
What do you mean?
I don't meet that criteria.
That's not one you like?
No.
So
I like it, but I'm certainly not able to celebrate that one.
Get to know your customers by hugging a squirrel today, and you'll be right up there with the most celebrated people in the world.
There you go.
Something like that. Anyway, squirrels. I do like squirrels. This is a weird time of the year to have Squirrel Appreciation Day. You don't see as many squirrels this time of year, so I don't know. That's kind of just a weird time to have it. So, again, National Hugging Day. Get out there and hug somebody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheelator.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheelator.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Food fight. Were you ever in a food fight?
No.
What was the closest you've ever come to a food fight?
I've never been in a food
How about the
fight.
time you threw some food at me? Was that pretty close?
I've never thrown food at you.
Well, I'm sure you have, at least
No,
once.
I don't think so.
15 high school kids are getting quite possibly the uncoolest form of punishment a teenager could get. They have to hang out with their parents. Officials at Paul V. Moore High School in New York have punished 15 kids for continuous food fights in the cafeteria. Instead of giving them a week of suspension, the students' parents have agreed to come in and eat lunch with them. The Education Authority is also hiring 4 lunch monitors to help stop the food throwing. They shouldn't have to do that, but apparently it's gotten out of control.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, that's really cool that moms and dads have said, I'll come in and do that. Because a lot of the time, it's, they get mad and say, well, you should, my kid's a good kid.
My kid didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, so I'm really glad to hear that moms and dads are taking the initiative to go into the Paul V. Moore High School.
That's fun.
And say, you know what, I'll sit next to him. No,
I'd go in, and then I'd start a food fight with my kid.
And they'd be like, I know what the problem is now. That's why Heidi's no longer welcome to have lunch at our daughter's high school. Like, yeah, last time she was here, she threw a Twinkie at the teacher. So, no, she can't come back. No, she did not do that. But I could see you, even if you didn't throw any food, just shout food fight, just because you would do that. I could see you do that. Anyway, that happened in New York. Again, it's at Paul V. Moore High School in New York. 15 kids have been getting in a lot of food fights. Now their moms and dads get to come hang out with them and have lunch every day. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Seems like every time we think we've located America's dumbest criminal, somebody comes along and lowers the bar for us. At the moment, the title goes to 18-year-old John Douglas Sheets and 17-year-old Misty Ann Holmes of Callaway, Florida. Guess what they did?
What did they do?
They called the cops to report that somebody had stolen their quarter-pound stash of marijuana.
How many times of this? I mean, we've read stories like this all the time.
Well, it gets better. They added, "We need it back right away. We got plans to sell that." Deputies arrested and charged the ditzy duo with possession and intent to deliver, plus possession of drug paraphernalia. So, yeah, these guys took it one step further. Not only somebody stole my drugs, but somebody stole my drugs and I need it back because I got a big sale coming up this afternoon. So there you got that. I wonder if they went to wherever, hey, you know what? Let's go and let's make that sale happen. Let's go pick those people up, too. I hope they did. I don't know what they did, but there you go. That is your brain on drugs. We have your moment of duh coming up, and it's coming from Burger King. Sadly, I like Burger King. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Have it your way. That's the thing from Burger King, right?
Yes.
Their slogan. Kevin and Dana Gillis of Pembroke Pines, Florida, were in the drive-thru of a Burger King. An 18-year-old clerk, Michael Perez, allegedly snatched the money from Kevin's hand when he tried to hand Michael some extra change instead of like for bills, he wanted to do exact change. Michael said he didn't want the extra change. He wanted the bills instead. He wouldn't accept the change for payment of the meal. The men exchanged some words, which soon turned into a flame-broiled problem. Michael climbed through the drive-thru window into the customer's car, punched Kevin in the face.
Gosh.
Passenger Dana said when she climbed into the back of the truck, Michael started after her until he was tackled by Kevin. Michael's now on charges of burglary and battery, so he got in trouble. He was not wanting to count back change. I don't want to count your change. You give me bills. They don't pay me enough to count change. So I can see where this would be a problem for, if you pull into a drive-thru. First of all, for him to climb out the window into your car.
That's insane.
This kid should not be able to work around people. So there you go. That happened at a BK in, where was it again? It was in Florida. Pembroke Pines, Florida. For note, if you happen to head to town there, if you're going to be heading that direction, might not want to go to that BK.
Honestly, the issue probably was that he did not know how to count change.
Most likely.
Most likely is what the issue was.
And there's a lot of kids that age that can't. He's 18. Have you done that before where they'll tell you how much it is and you before they punch the button is when you should tell them, but you don't. You go, oh, hey, I got a nickel. And then they're trying to figure out, what do I do? It was $22.05. He gave me $25 and then another nickel. And then they stare at the cash register for like 3 minutes. They're like, I need to get a manager here. Just give me $3. We'll be good. All right, your scoop of the day is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. A Fort Worth, Texas man fell into a large construction hole on his way to buy lottery tickets. So when he was going to get
We talked about this.
Did we really?
Didn't we?
I don't think so. This is the first time I even read it, so we couldn't have.
Okay.
You're thinking of some other guy that you hang out with.
No, I'm thinking of some other guy who fell in a hole, and his family started missing him when he didn't come back home late that night, and they...
I have
talked about.
If that's what happened, I don't know. That's all I have is what I just told you. So
yeah,
his family was concerned.
Yeah.
All I know is back when the lottery was, the 1.5 billion thing, he went out to get tickets and he fell in a construction hole. So apparently, even if he would have made it there, he wasn't having a lucky day. Clearly. Now let's head to Malaysia, where police caught two burglars. Well, this happens all the time. They fell asleep in the house that they broke into. First, they raided the
Yeah,
fridge.
we hear this all the
Then
time,
they took a
too.
nap. What is wrong with
I think
criminals?
we're repeating things.
No, we're
today.
not. This was in Malaysia. I don't think I've ever talked about Malaysia before. Apple has taken firm root in America. Over half of all households in the country have at least one Apple product. Our home just came to own an Apple product.
Only one, and it's
Yeah.
like 5 years old, so it's extremely
Our
outdated.
daughter had to have an
Yeah.
iPhone. So
And
anyway,
I was like,
recent
I'm not
survey.
spending $700 on a phone. That's ridiculous.
Like,
So I
let's-
bought
you
one
can-
for $30 on eBay.
Now her friends will know. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, a recent survey says shows just how far the reach of the company has come in the last decade because, they were in trouble for a while there, and they've dug themselves out quite handily. Internet addiction amongst kids in Japan has become so prevalent. One statistic holds that 500,000 of them suffer from it. That's the government is doing a little investigation on an immersion to break kids of their dependency on the internet. These internet fasting camps are for kids who need some rehab. The total internet blackout is something they're also thinking about with things like outdoor activities and games, and you cannot get on the internet. So they have no access
That
to the
sounds like a
internet.
camp I'd like to go to.
No way. I like going on the internet.
I know you do.
Hey, ladies, if your hubby has been letting himself go a bit lately, well, that's me. Here's why. Men give up trying to be trendy and cool when they hit the age 46. I started way early. Most say that they're not in great shape anymore anyway, and they thought, I'm going to just stop worrying about how I look. A third of guys could care less about their health implications of what they eat. Only a third of us? Come on, it's more than that. I've looked around at the restaurants while I'm there. Hey, for years, people who doodle during meetings were considered to be not paying attention or daydreaming. Heidi,
What?
you doodle during meetings.
I do.
But now researchers are telling us that doodling can be a sign of creativity
See?
and deeper thought on the subject at
See?
hand than those who don't. One study found that people who doodle remember a higher percentage of what was talked about than those who do not doodle.
See? There you
So
go.
doodle, people, and you'll remember more stuff. All right, I hope I can get through this whole story. Sharfie Dora, it's a fun name, led police on a chase after taking $8,000 from the Sakatomi Lounge. Sakatomi? Is that how you say that?
I don't know.
Anyway, Sharfie was a crafty devil, managing to stay one step in front of Johnny Law in the commission of his caper. Oh, that's a him? Anyway, upon arrival, police were told the suspect just went out the back door. In fact, he was getting into a vehicle carrying a bag of money with him. Police closed in on the car chase. He bailed out of the car and took off on foot. The cops called the dogs after him, and the canines were in pursuit. Then the chase took an interesting turn. As Sharfie was running, the bag somehow got a hole in it. So then there's money blowing everywhere in the neighborhood.
Oh, man.
And honest citizens who would never rob a lounge eventually would be making up a jury of the peers. Well, they came out of their homes and picked up money as the cops were trying to secure it. Dora faces charges now of armed robbery, resisting arrest, and carrying a handgun without a license, not to mention an alarming way of not holding on to his money because he was running through a neighborhood with money flying everywhere, dogs chasing him, and people coming out to, cash in on his misfortune. So interesting story right there. Hey, we got a strange law, so we can wrap this thing up. In Louisiana, it is illegal to rob a bank and then shoot at the bank teller with a water pistol. That's illegal.
But a regular pistol is fine.
Apparently. That's illegal in Louisiana. That is a strange law. And this has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. We've got a special guest on the line talking about something that's happening all over the nation next week. It's National School Choice Week, and we have the president of National School Choice Week, Andrew Campanella, joining us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. Now, what is National School Choice Week? What is that's going on next week?
Well, National School Choice Week is the nation's largest annual celebration of opportunity in education. And what that means is there will be 15,800 events all across the country designed to raise awareness among parents that when it comes to their children's education, they do have choices. And if they want to look into the choices they have, they should start in January and not wait until later in the year.
That's awesome. And the nice thing is, these events that are going on, there are some, in just about every state. They're all over the place. So it's not like it's just happening on the East Coast or the West Coast or just in one area. This is something that's happening near us as well. And if I would like to know where the events are going on in my area, can I just go to the site that's on here, schoolchoiceweek.com?
That's right, schoolchoiceweek.com, and you can click on a map where you type in your zip code and find events near you. And you can also find on that map, if you're looking at different schools for your children, some of the participating schools that are involved in School Choice Week. So the map serves two purposes.
And the thing that's neat, I'm reading here, it says National School Choice Week 2016, which is next week, will be the largest series of educational events in U.S. history. So this is the biggest year we've ever had.
It is. And National School Choice Week started in 2011, and we had 150 events across the country. And these events are everything from open houses at schools to school fairs to inform parents, to pep rallies and roundtable policy discussions, movie screenings, pizza parties, you name it, it's being planned. And ever since that first year with 150 events, National School Choice Week has snowballed in enthusiasm, and now we have nearly 16,000 events going on all across the nation.
That is crazy. So from 150 events just a few years ago to 15,500 this year. Again, it's coming up next week, National School Choice Week. If I would like to get involved, if I have kids in school, is there a fee to this, or do I just click on the site and find the events? Are they all typically free?
Oh, yes. Most of the events are free. We encourage schools, organizations, individuals, chambers of commerce, homeschooling groups to independently plan these events. So they're planning events in their communities with a local community focus. Most of the events, many of the events are open to the public. Some are private, but they will be listed on the site, and you can attend the events that are public and learn more. But you can also learn more on our website. We have a whole toolkit for parents, giving them information about how to start the school choice process. If they're interested in finding a different option for their child, whether it's a traditional district school, a charter school, a magnet school, an online academy, a private school, or if they're considering homeschooling, they can go to schoolchoiceweek.com/parent.
Again, next week is National School Choice Week. The events that are going on, are those just for parents, or are some of those for parents and students as well?
A lot of the events do include students, and there are really events to meet anybody's interests and needs. And the goal of them, again, is to raise awareness of educational options. So I think people should check those out, but also check out the resources online, because if you don't find an event near you, and we do have a lot of them, you might be able to find out other information from our site.
Again, our guest today is Andrew Campanella, the president of National School Choice Week. And next week is National School Choice Week. What are the official dates? From when till when?
It's from January 24th through the 30th. And it will take place all across the country.
And just a few years ago, they had 150 events across the country. And this year, there are 15,500 events. So, Andrew, you must be doing something right, because that's a really good growth curve right there.
Well, thank you. But I really think it's the schools, the organizations, homeschooling groups, chambers of commerce doing something right, because they are the ones planning these events, and they're the ones enthusiastic about spreading awareness about school choice. And I think that is a testament to the desire of individuals and local communities across this country to make sure that parents understand that we are entering a new world when it comes to education, a world where parents can choose the education for their children. They can customize the education options they have, because we need to recognize that every child is unique, every child is different, every child has unique talents, skills, abilities, and also challenges. And it just makes sense to pair up students with the best schools for them.
I agree 100%. And here's the thing, folks. If you've got kids in school and you're complaining about something that's going on in the school, you have no room to complain if you don't go to an event next week during National School Choice Week, because that's what it's all about. Have your say. Get there and give your input. They're putting on, like I said, 15,500 events across the country. And if you're saying, well, I'm not going, but I'm going to complain about this or this or this, well, that's just kind of silly to me.
Well, I hope folks will learn more about the options available to them. And again, do so during School Choice Week, because it's a time where people will be talking about educational opportunity. And it's also the right time to start looking at their options, because if they wait until summer break to choose a different school for the 2016-17 school year, it may be too late. A lot of schools have moved their application processes earlier because of parent demand. So if you want to make sure you have a wide range of options, start looking now. And that's the reason we chose January, which happens to be one of the coldest months of the year, to do School Choice Week, because this is the time when parents need to start looking for their options.
It's a great thing. And I can tell you, I have a daughter that's a freshman in high school. This year she's going to a different high school. She's going to a school called New Technology High School, and it's a completely different learning style. She's gone from C's and D's to A's and B's, and more A's than B's. She's doing really, really well, but we had chosen a different path for her, and she had that opportunity, and it has been wonderful, and I'm so excited to see where that takes her in her life.
I think, I'm practically speechless, because what you just said is what I try to say to people, and that is that when parents choose the right options for their kids, they see a transformation. They see their children are inspired to go to school every day. Well, not every day, not every day is a wonderful day at school, but they see their kids inspired to go to school most days and learn, and then they're more likely to get better grades, and they're more likely to graduate. And that is the promise of school choice. That is what this is about.
Well,
it's not about saying that one school is better than all the rest. It's about saying what school is right for your kid.
Again, our guest today has been Andrew Campanella. Andrew, thank you so much for chatting with us. Andrew is the president of National School Choice Week. It's all next week. There are 15,500 events going on all across the country. So make sure you take a look and go to the ones that are in your neighborhood if you'd like to know more. What's that website one more time, Andrew?
SchoolChoiceWeek.com.
All right. Thank you again. You have a great day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Glad to have you. Again, National School Choice Week, all next week. Again, the website, SchoolChoiceWeek.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A Russian TV station has launched a game show called Who Wants to Become Fabulously Wealthy? Guess what the top prize is? About $50 American. So, yeah, that is a Russian TV station. Who Wants to Become Fabulously Wealthy? $50 US would be their top prize. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
When you restrict your diet, you are less able to resist impulse buys. A study from the Journal of Consumer Research suggests that. So they're saying if you restrict your diet, you're going to end up with more impulse buys.
I agree with that.
All right. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What is that, John?
This is fun fact number 781. I'm going to start numbering these things, and then I'm going to share these on our Facebook page. Not all of them, just a few. 23.5 gallons of coffee is consumed annually by the average person. I think we're way above average here.
Probably.
23.5 gallons of coffee consumed by the average person every year. That's going to do it for our fun facts. Thanks for joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Laziness extends your lifespan. What? That's exactly the opposite of what you think.
They say every day.
Forget all those nose to the grindstone trash that's been stuffed down your throat since you were a kid. A couch potato lifestyle free of stress is the way to go, according to medical researcher Peter Axt and Michael Axt-Gatterman in their book, The Joy of Laziness, Why Life is Better, Slower, and How to Get There. The authors prove that goofing off and goofing off more and exercising less will make you smarter, younger looking, less cranky, and more lovable. The German doctors developed a 5-step plan to lazy up and lengthen your life. You ready for this 5-step plan?
I am ready.
Number 1, forget the long-distance running. Marathon athletes often die at an early age from heart attacks. Switch to a brisk but easy stroll whenever you feel like going out. Don't rush. Just stroll. Number 2, if you live in a northern climate, think about moving south. They say warmer weather and sunshine dispels depression and alleviates stress. Number 3, sleep in whenever possible.
I love that.
Long hours in bed. This list is awful. Long hours in bed pump up your immune system so your body can fight viruses and diseases. Number 4 on their list, combat the aging process by slowing down your metabolism with an occasional daily fast. Even digesting food can take a lot out of you. So, you don't want to eat too much, because that's a lot of work, that whole digestion thing. And their last thing on the list, again, this comes from the Joy of Laziness book. Relax your brain by hanging out for a day, doing absolutely nothing more strenuous than channel surfing. do that one as often as you can.
This list is exactly the opposite of everything else that we read.
Everything else that you ever hear is that you're going to, do more for your heart and all of that. The Joy of Laziness, Why Life is Better, Slower, and How to Get There by a couple of brothers. They both happen to be doctors.
I love this book.
I think they live in their mom's basement, and they're just trying to do this to prove a point. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about a woman who took her dead daughter with her somewhere. This is just weird. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
This is a story that's just kind of bizarre. Wherever Lori Lemons goes, her dead daughter goes with her. That includes to restaurants, to visit family and friends, to court, where her husband faces a murder trial later in August. Her daughter, Nikita Faith Lemons, was 2.5 months old when her father, Milton Lee Lemons, shook her violently while watching her in the couple's apartment. Nikita died the next day. That is very sad. Lori Lemons, knew right away that she didn't want to visit a grave. So she had her daughter cremated, and she put her ashes in a special urn shaped like a teddy bear. Lori said, I thought it was perfect. Now I have something to be able to hold on to. She can join me at parties. I can dress her up for the holidays as often as a baby almost. And she said, my son has taken naps with her. I dress her up for the holidays like she's still part of the family, and she's in a teddy bear form.
Okay, now as far as putting the ashes in a teddy bear by itself, that's not super weird. That's actually very sweet.
It's the whole taking it everywhere you go.
It's taking it along and dressing it up.
So what about her murdering husband? She said he's seen the bear, but I'm not sure he realizes that our daughter's ashes are in it. I honestly don't know if he understands. She does plan to divorce him, by the way.
Well, I would sure hope so.
That is from the Detroit Free Press. That was just a bizarre story. Coming your way, we've got A Dog's Life. That's hopefully a whole lot better. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Police in Germany were trying to talk a woman out of suicide when they found out she was a dog lover. So they rushed to a nearby animal shelter. They chose the cutest dog they could muster. They took it back to the clinic where the woman had barricaded herself. Sure enough, she dropped her weapon, picked up the puppy. The dog stopped her from committing suicide. So what kind of hero's reward does a dog get? The dog was sent back to the shelter and is awaiting adoption or destruction.
Aww.
I think that dog should be adopted by that lady.
Well,
because they would both benefit from that. And she could say,
why
this
wouldn't
dog...
she say, I want to keep the dog?
Well, hopefully she does. But she could literally say, this dog saved my life. Because it did. That was in Germany. So there you go. That's a whole lot better story than the last one we had a little bit ago.
Yes.
It was kind of a downer. That was a little more of an upper. Coming up, we have some really positive news, and we've got something between now and then. We're going to talk about going to the Goodwill store in Salem, Oregon. We had an issue. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
If you plan on going to a place that sells used items like Goodwill, you might not want to take your bicycle along and park it inside. In Salem, Oregon,
yeah, it got sold.
a 13-year-old boy learned that the hard way.
Oh, no.
There was no lock on the bike. Before he knew what happened, his black BMX was sold for $6.99.
Oh, no.
Fortunately, the buyer later saw the story about the problem in the paper, returned the bike for his Goodwill. He's getting a $100 certificate from Goodwill, which is really nice. Remember, the policy at Goodwill is if it's on the floor, it's for sale. Goodwill spokesperson Dale Emanuel said a janitor once left a bucket and a mop on the store's sales floor, and when he came back, they had sold them. He was mopping the floor and took a break. When he came back, he's like, where's my mop? They're like, oh, we sold that. That is hilarious.
That is hilarious.
I
like to go to Goodwills.
Yeah, it's a neat. And the thing is, here's the sad thing. This young man, this 13-year-old kid, I don't understand why he was parking his bicycle inside anyway.
Well, maybe it's dangerous in that area to leave it outside.
Well, you lock it up outside. But I'm really glad that he got it back, and it's really cool. The people who bought it for $6.99 returned it and said, hey, you know what? I want the kid to have his bike back.
That's awesome.
And instead of getting a refund, they got a $100 gift certificate, so that's really
fantastic.
Nice. So it sounds to me like everybody was a winner, and we're talking about Goodwill right now, so they're winning too. So a little bit of good that came from something that wasn't so good. But we do have something really good on the way. We've got a good news segment that we always try to wrap things up with, and that's on the way here in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
I thought this was a really fun way to end the show. We always try to wrap things up with good news, and I thought this was just such a cool story. I read this online, and I wanted to share it. A Kentucky Baptist church got involved in a very unusual fundraiser. Their pastor, Daniel Lowry, was just about to get married, and that's when they discovered something. His wife, former Kristen Sayers, had served overseas as a co-director for the Navatasha Children's Shelter in Kenya. Now, in that country, there's usually a dowry to get married.
Okay.
So when you select a bride, you usually pay the family. Sure. Now, she was serving over there, and that's when the church said, you know, I think that we should put a dowry together. We should make sure that that they get that. So the grooms normally give a large sum of money to their brides' families. After he proposed, Lowry discovered that her friends in Kenya thought that he and the church, First Baptist Church of Newcastle, should honor the tradition and donate to the shelter, and they did. Congregation jumped on the idea. In fact, they ended up paying more than $1,500 for him to be able to say, I do. That happened back in October. The couple is going to get a chance to see the results of the bride purchase fundraiser as well. They're heading there this month for a reception in Kenya as well.
That's nice.
I thought that was really cool.
That is nice.
Because, that's something that we're not a part of a custom like that. There is no dowry, because if there was, I couldn't have afforded to marry you. I mean, because I'm sure the dowry would have been way too much.
No, I think you probably would have been able to afford me just fine. My dad once tried to sell me to a Somalian for $10 and a goat, so pretty sure you would have been able.
Problem is, I could muster up the $10, but where am I going to get a goat? So, see, I don't know if I could have. I just think this is a really cute story. Anyway, that happened at a Kentucky Baptist church, and the First Baptist Church of Newcastle came up with the dough, over $1,500, and they sent it off to Kenya for a dowry. Really kind of a neat thing. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And the bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club is a great way to get your razors. For $1 a month, you can get razors delivered to your door for $2 more, so it's $3 a month. That's all you got to do. All the details can be found online at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday in our bonus break. So for those of you who listen to the bonus break, you know what's coming right now. How much does it take to become successful? Well, it depends on who you ask, Heidi.
Right.
Many famous people have nothing. I mean, almost nothing when they leave home and try to become famous. One is Lucy. I love Lucy.
I do too.
Lucille Ball left Jamestown, New York for New York City with 5 cents. At one point, she had to steal a waiter's tip to buy her coffee.
Aww.
So she had a nickel, and look how she did. Very, very well. Richard Pryor, he left Peoria, Illinois for New York with about $2. Wow. After buying a bus ticket and a smoke, he had 33 cents left when he got there. 33 cents, and Richard Pryor did okay with that, didn't he?
Holy cow.
I'm saying not Richard Pryor, we just did his. How about Henry Fonda? He left Omaha, Nebraska with $100. It was the last of his earnings from a vaudeville gig that he did.
I didn't know Henry Fonda was from Omaha, Nebraska.
I don't know if he's from there, but it says that's where he left with $100. So he might have just been where his last gig was. I don't know. Roseanne Barr. She was 19 years young when she left Salt Lake City, Utah to head to Colorado. She had $400 to go start her comedy career, and she's done all right. Ronnie Reagan, Heidi's favorite president.
I love that man.
When he was 17 years young, he left Dixon, Illinois, and he had $400 in his pocket to go to college in Eureka, Illinois. So $400, and he did okay as well. Carol Burnett, you also love her.
I love Carol Burnett.
She left Los Angeles for New York City with $525 in her pocket. And Jimmy Carter, Heidi's not-so-favorite president, left his Navy stint in New York for a job selling fertilizer, and he had a few $1,000s in his pocket, and he sold 2,000 tons of fertilizer in his first year of new business.
Huh, that's interesting. He brought that same BS with him along to the White House.
See, Andy, there you go. That's why I saved that one for the end, just in case anybody turned it off already. They're okay. You're welcome. All right. Do we have room for one more thing?
Really quick, yes.
7, because there's people out here that want to make noise.
Yeah.
There's people who want to make noise right outside our window, so she keeps looking out there. 7 crazy jobs you never knew existed. This is from Money Magazine. Worm picker. There are people who pick worms. This is a big deal in Toronto, Canada. Another big profession that you don't know about is professional mourners. Somebody.
See, I've heard about this. Why would you want people who aren't really mourners to be at your service?
I don't know that it's usually the person dying. Maybe it's people from the family that are going, we just don't know who to even reach out to, so let's make sure there's somebody there. Vomit collector. This is a job at Thorpe Park, an amusement park in England. There's a guy, his title is vomit collector. He goes around and scoops up the puke. Passenger arrangement staff to deal with overcrowding on public transportation in Tokyo, Japan. So there's somebody there that has to get all the people lined up, and hey, everybody stay in order here. Dog food tester. I guess it makes sense. When they make a fresh batch of dog food, somebody has to make sure it meets the brand's standards. Olive stuffer. Olives are washed and picked and pitted by a machine, but they're stuffed individually by hand with those little pimentos. And the last one on the list, odor tester. Hired by a variety of companies to sniff out effectiveness of a product. So they're like, hey, take a sniff of this and tell me if these things smell all right.
I could do.
Back to the old drawing board. No, you couldn't.
Yes, I could.
You can't even smell things half the time, which is why it works for you to be married to me. Because I stink. I'm like, do you smell anything? You're like, I don't smell anything. I haven't been able to smell anything for about 6 months, though, so don't go by me on that. So you couldn't do that.
That's true.
That's why you could. Yeah, I do that. I can't smell anything anyway. All right, I got some fun stuff that I don't have time for because I'm going to let them knock a hole in the wall out here. It's going to do it for the bonus break, brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.